Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it is the people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I have Mr. Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Green Bean, how you doing tonight?
This is fun. I'm feeling nice getting all dressed up with you two. This is an exciting night for me.
Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Green Bean out here looking like the guy from Jurassic Park. Just tremendous look.
It.
The hat and the beard reminded me of, and the collared shirt. I was like, that's Jurassic Park guy. But I'm all in. I love the Chubbies shirt, so we're rocking them tonight.
That's right.
Chubbies hooking it up. So we'll get to our lovely sponsor in just a little bit here. But if you want to admire us, look on. We look beautiful. Boys and girls, as you're hopping into the chat, make sure you hit that like button. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt, jersey, hat, mug, pillow giveaway qualifier. It's going to win something at the end of this stream. Very excited. And if you're watching this after the fact, all you got to do is leave some time-stamped comments down below to get entered into next week's t-shirt, jersey, hat, mug, pillow giveaway. And we're off and running here at the Talkin' Jets panel. Before we get into everything,
sorry. I gotta cut you off because this is too good not to call out. You have to pull up _𝐒𝐿𝐺's comment here and read that out loud for Green Bean and the rest of us all to see, because that's my favorite thing I've maybe ever seen.
Hold on, I gotta find it. Where is it?
It's after Hennessy super chat. It's recent.
Janko?
Janko.
Let's see.
Who the hell's Janko?
I don't know. 𝐒𝐿𝐺.
Okay. Whoop, boom. Here we go. Salute, men. Shout out to Green Bean from my 5-year-old son, who says he is his favorite player because he thinks he's on the team.
I am on the team.
We had to start with that.
Right.
They advertise when they call everyone out. They say, "I'm the 12th man." It's the fans. It's us.
Green Bean.
Green Bean. JETSFAN.
Here he comes, limping on the field.
Oh,
I love
it.
Janko. That made my night. That's
Janko,
beautiful.
that is awesome. Boys and girls, before we get too far into it, I do want to recommend that you head over to talkinjets.com. Link is pinned in the live chat. Head over if you guys want to come with us. Week 4 Broncos Jets ticket extravaganza. We're going to be going on the field after the game. We got Tailgate Joe linking up with us. So we got food, drink, music, all that good stuff beforehand. Head down into the description or talkinjets.com or click on the link in the live chat. We are looking forward to it. Hennessy's already in here, says, can't wait to win the division this year. Matt, did you hear the odds? The odds of the Jets winning.
The division?
The division.
The division. The big division favorites plus 170 right now on the old Bet US. So things you love to see.
Ooh. 𝐒𝐿𝐺 copping in saying, O'Leary undo another button.
Well, it's only one. It's the button's in a tough spot. If I undo another one, that's obviously a little. That's like drunk vacation mode. If I do one more, if I button another one, then it's like nerdy kind of like I'm gonna get my lunch money stolen. So I'm going in the middle here. If I undid another one, that's drunk vacation, Matt. This is here for a good time, Matt.
All right. I like
perfect.
John says he gets the automatic milk thumbs for
milk thumbs.
There you go.
My son thinks that because Green Bean signed his football last year at practice. That's Janko. That's why he's on the team.
Yeah, I remember that. That was amazing. You know what? I got to tell you, I regret it. I regret how I've thought about, I swear I've thought about this 100 times, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 times. I'm not kidding. I signed it with my real signature. I should have wrote Green Bean on there. You know what I mean?
I think
like,
it says
I
Green
just
Bean.
fast,
No one can
I
read
was
script
nervous.
anymore. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to somebody asking me for my autograph. So I was tickled and it was cool. And I was like, bloop. I just did what I always do. And then I was like, I thought about it that day. I've thought about it so many times since. I'm like, why don't you just write Green Bean on there? You know what I mean? I don't have a Green Bean signature, Ryan.
You wake up in the middle of the night, you're just like, dang it, that
Like,
one thing. Your brain's just like throwing. It's got to be like a GB and then like a number, some kind of number you associate with.
I don't know.
𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 saying that you're a tease, Matt.
Good. I don't want to give away too much. Keep you wanting more. Keep you coming back.
Tease.
Jason says, are you guys trying to bring sexy back? We already brought it back.
Is it working?
Damn. Snowball says, Matt was appropriately dressed for Jets worldwide match game.
That was really fun, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw that, but on Sunday morning, we did a Jets match game. Jeremy was there, Gunny was there, and Boy Green, excuse me, and his co-host had to try to answer the questions and match it up with us. And we were not on the same page. It took forever, but it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. Got people talking in the chat. All right. Well, let's get into like some of our topics that we've got brewing right now. We are another week into the Hassan Reddick holdout. Green Bean, you feeling any sort of way differently on Hassan Reddick right now?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm feeling today. I'm feeling a little aggravated because Judon gets traded and says and does just the most perfect thing ever. My holdout was with a team that knows me, blah, blah, blah. The Falcons don't know me. So I'm going to show I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the whole thing. They wanted me down here. And I actually tweeted and tagged Hassan Reddick. Not that he's going to see it, but just like, hey, here's one of your peers doing it the right way, dickhead. He won't probably respond to that. But
did you call him a dickhead?
No, but I should have. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. That's the right way to do it. Like when you see it, like everybody goes, why are the Falcons doing it? It's the same thing as with Reddick. Oh, it's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, because generally speaking, when you have a $15 million contract and you have like kind of like an agreement, like, all right, look, we're going to honor that. You come and you play a little bit. We'll talk. Like you do it. And Reddick isn't doing it. I had a comment earlier on one of my videos. Somebody said, I have a sneaky suspicion that Reddick lost quite a bit and he's trying to he's going to stick it out and get whatever version of his payday that he can, rob some team, Jets really, before he goes on the field and shows everybody that he's washed. So that would be unfortunate, but I don't know, like, I think all, potentialities are on the page here, or in play, there it is, in play. So it's just aggravating at this point. Like, we're 2 weeks from the season, dude. Like, they're not trading you. Now there was a rumor today that we offered him a deal. Was that real, or is that with just somebody saying something? I saw it really quick.
I mean, we offered him a deal initially when the trade was made that his camp declined. We don't know what that deal was. I sort of theorized that it was 2 years, $40 million, which would be $25 million next year, $15 million this year. I do want to point out Judon is playing for $6.5 million this year. So he's getting less than half of what Reddick is.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, there's just like at some point, like I get it, you negotiate, you do that. At some point, you go and you do the thing you said you were going to do. You have a contract. It's very lucrative. Maybe not as lucrative as you want. Fine, but it's lucrative. And it's like, go out there, play. Now, if he would have shown up, who knows? He might even have a contract by now. You know what I mean? If he showed up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's aggravating. Now, It's just you want to know what you're going into the season with. So it's just one of those things, man. It's very frustrating.
Matt, I want to get your thoughts in just a moment, but I just want to pull up Ron Wise's comment. Thank you so much, Ron, for the super chat. He says, I went to camp today, and it was a letdown. Only second and third teamers. Did my man Ryan know about this beforehand? Gave away 9 tickets yesterday during the Talkin' Jets with Dom C and Ryan show, and Ron was one of our ticket recipients, and I did not know it was going to be second and third teamers, but I'll admit, seeing that today, I was like, well, I guess I'm glad I gave away those tickets. Screw that guy, Ron. No, I'm kidding. Ron, thank you so much.
I did my 5 hours in the car this week and only saw the Adrian Martinez experience, you would have seen a different side of me today.
Matt would have turned beet red and just fuming, having to sit in 5 hours worth of traffic to see Mr. Martinez throw the rock. Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on Reddick. Any thoughts, especially considering what Judon's comments were?
Yeah, I mean, that just Hassan Reddick's got to be looking at his phone like, I look like the biggest asshole on the planet right now. That's tough for Judon to come, whether he means it or not, right? Like, he in reality he very well could just want money and is just saying the right things. But for him to come out and say that, and the situation that Reddick is going through right now, it doesn't paint him in the best picture, in the best light, which is unfortunate. And honestly, like I kind of said it last week, but I'll reiterate it here. I think just the longer that this goes on, the more frustrated I get. I think, both sides kind of got to meet in the middle here. We got to find some common ground and work something out, because as we've discussed at length, Reddick needs to play this year. The Jets are a significantly better team with Hassan Reddick than without. Let's figure it out.
Flight Boys is saying our offer to Reddick was $23 million. Can't be mad at JD. I guess it's 23. Is it $23 million this year? $23 million next year? Was it a 2-year deal? Was it a 1-year offer to get 23? I mean, look, I'm not mad at JD either way. 23 million is more than acceptable when we got you by the balls for 15.
Where's that number coming? I didn't see a $23 million number anywhere.
Neither did I. Flight Boys, if you do have a source for that, would love to know it, because that is not something that I don't think any of us saw. Yeah, so we also had a game this past weekend. Carolina Panthers. A whole lot of the backups. But we did get to see Will McDonald. We did get to see 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐛𝐞, and the boys at the running back position, both Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. So, Matt, I'll throw it with you first. What do you think of the Jets' last game against the Panthers?
You
don't enjoy 8 field goals or whatever the hell that game was?
No, that was not a fun preseason game. And I like the preseason. Usually there's some fun things to watch for. You get some weird some fun quarterback play. That was the week before. We got like Adrian Martinez making like a couple like sick throws. This past week we got like a horrendous interception. No one really stood out a whole lot on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Tyron Smith didn't play. Neither did Morgan Moses. 𝐒𝐿 there we go. That's where I was trying to go. Started at right tackle, so I was keeping my eye on him. I thought he looked solid from what I saw. And then, other than that, like Will McDonald's spin move just stood out. Other than that, like it was pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot to report from this past one.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with how 𝐒𝐿 played. That was kind of like the biggest takeaway. I mean, I guess I felt good about Will McDonald getting the sack and maybe getting the monkey off his back a little bit, having a slightly better performance this week than he did last week. 𝐒𝐿 playing the right side of the line, I thought he looked pretty solid, especially in pass protection. I would say he definitely looked uncomfortable. Like you could tell it wasn't his natural position. There was just certain movements that just felt a little clunky. But by and large, like pretty impressed. I think even if Moses goes down, regardless of whether Carter Warren or Max Mitchell have played the right-hand side, I think 𝐒𝐿 is probably that next man up. Green Bean, what was your thoughts on the Panthers game, particularly 𝐒𝐿 and Will McDonald?
Oh, hold on. I'm yelling at Dano real quick. He asked, did you guys plan to have all 3 button-down shirts? Like, no. Come on, Dano. No, it's weird. It's a weird happenstance. It's
Just
just we all happen to wear colorful button-up shirts or button-down. Sorry.
It depends which way you're looking. It could be button down.
It really does. You know what's
Australia,
funny?
We got a few Australia people down there. These button-ups for you guys.
Well, I see. Yeah, it's funny because I do say button down. I don't know why I said button up, but it does work. But anyway, I'm just playing with you, Dana. But here's the thing. I have lots of stuff to say about this game. Number one, I agree with Matt. It was boring and 15 hours long, which is just never easy to endure. But I want to say this. So there was, and I made my podcast this week about this in many respects, but I'll just briefly touch on it here. Aaron Rodgers, after the game, said that he was really excited by what he saw on the offense. And everybody's like, what the, well, that's complete, just player speak, just being positive. But it's not. So what did he watch? He watched the offensive line depth, which by and large looked pretty damn good. He saw Olu Fashanu, who played left tackle last week, played right tackle this week. They're really wanting him to be the swing tackle, which looked great. And you got the two running backs, right? You got Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. They looked every bit, they didn't have, Braylon Allen didn't have the 23-yard runs or anything, but they showed something. They showed exactly what Aaron Rodgers said later, which is the NFL has cyclical trends, right? So we all know now, we call the NFL a passing league the last 10 years. NFL's a passing league. NFL. So what does that do? So defenses had to figure it out. They started playing much more nickel and dime. They started playing smaller linebackers, and they have more defensive backs and more safeties converted to linebackers and all that kind of stuff. So the way that Aaron Rodgers said it is exactly what excites me. He said, when you see that makeup on a defense, and this is the way he said it, it begs you to run the ball. So looking at that, and you guys have heard me say it all the time. If I built a team, I'd be pounding people with my 6'5" tight ends and my running backs, and just, and the 4 yards of play wins the game. So we saw that. This was a sloppy, rainy, inefficient, just kind of low output game, but you still got to win those. Those games happen. And the way to win those is 4 yards of play. That's what you do. And that's what we did. There were numerous plays. There was one drive where Braylon Allen ran 7 times on the one drive. It was a 49-yard drive. We got to the 18. They took him out, whoever, Peasley, whatever, threw it around. We ended up kicking a field goal. But it was 3rd and 2, he got 4 yards. 3rd and 3, he got 4 yards. So that's what was happening. It was an 8-minute and 48-second drive. So we took 9 minutes off the clock, just nickel and diming them down the field, and we got point. Now, you'd like to get in the end zone, of course, but it was a 9-minute scoring drive. And that's the kind of stuff, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to stay on the field. So while I agree wholeheartedly, it was definitely not exciting, but I'll tell you what, when that type of a game happens, I still want to win the damn thing. And what Aaron Rodgers was excited about was, we can. And we don't even have Breece Hall out there, with just, the Braylon Allens, the Isaiah Davises, the Breece Halls, the Conklins, just being able to just eat those small chunks of field, keep the offense on the field, is going to pay dividends for us. And I think it was really exciting. Our team is built to take advantage of the smaller defenses, and I think most defenses have that makeup. So we're going to feast, and I think it's exciting.
Yeah, it feels like we're finally ahead of the trend on that pendulum swing of everyone's got to go small ball because they're using such heavy defensive packages. Now we're hitting them with speed and with just brute force via the tight end and via the running back position. So really, really exciting. Ron comes in again with a super chat. Thank you so much. Ron says, Matt, Ryan, and Green being dressed for Thanksgiving. What time is the pre-dinner two-hand touch game? Depends when you eat dinner, right? Dinner's like 3 o'clock usually for Thanksgiving dinner, 4 o'clock. I feel like it's usually an earlier dinner.
Early.
Call it a 1 o'clock game for football. Who's joining us?
That was my favorite tradition. The two-hand touch football with the cousins before Thanksgiving dinner. That was my Super Bowl from 2000 to 2008, we'll say.
Dude, it was just me and my brother growing up, so it was like us throwing the ball to one another, and that was about it. All my cousins live in Florida. We got nothing, so we pretended we had a really good game. And that's okay. It's fine. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ron.
we used to do that all the time. I haven't done that in a long time. I think I will this year. Depending on where I am, we're getting a damn football and we're tossing around. I don't care if it's just me and my son. We're doing it.
That would
I
be
like
fun. Do like a big charity flag football game or something like that. That'd be a blast.
That would be fun. Let's do that.
We should do that. I feel like that would be a really good time. I don't know when we do it, when people
That would be epic. I love that idea, Ryan.
Oh, we're thinking. We got to wear button-ups, button-downs more frequently.
The button-up football game. Yes, the button-up, the Thanksgiving button-up football extravaganza.
Got to wear a button-up or a button-down. We'll do
That's
button-ups
right,
versus button-downs instead of shirts versus skins.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. I
love it. E-Boogie comes in with a super chat. Matt, I'm going to ask you to reset the poll question, please. E-Boogie dropped the 20 spot. We're going to do...
Keep reading.
Oh. See, I got to
There's
read
no
these
poll
questions.
needed, baby.
No. 4 yards wins the game, right, Bean? Hey, fellas, do you think any of the undrafted free agents are going to make it? And who are they replacing? Freeze Ryan. Bastard.
Bean, which UDFAs are making this roster? I know you're a fan of some of those guys.
The first one is LT3. He's going to replace Tanzel Smart. That's what I see. Because don't forget, we lost Al Woods, we lost Jefferson, we lost JFM. He was an end primarily, but also played inside some. So we need a guy for in there. We brought on Kinlaw, we brought on Fotu, but we need a guy. I think Tanzel Smart had the inside track with being here for the last number of years. And like I've said before, high motor. He makes his share of plays, but he's capped. Like, what his ceiling is. And I think Lawrence Taylor the third,
Lawrence Taylor, hell yeah, baby.
Lawrence Taylor the third. But Leonard Taylor, I think, is and look, he didn't have quite as impactful of a game this weekend, but he did have a play where he just smashed through the line and made a tackle for a loss. So if he gives you that in a low percentage of the rotation, man, like when your second string is coming in to take Quinnen off the field and whoever else, if they can make plays like that, that's going to really help the cause. And I think LT3 has that potential. So he's my first guy. I think I would say I don't want to say a lock, but one more good game. I think it's going to be real hard to cut him. And again, Tanzel Smart, as much as the Jets like him, as much as I think a lot of Jets fans like him, and his personality and everything, charcuterie and all that shit, I just don't think that he gives you, charcuterie. So I don't think that he gives you the upside that an LT3 can. And I think LT3 is going to give you at least the impact that Tanzel Smart gives you. So I think he's the first one out.
What about you, Matt?
To throw a different name out there, I think my guy Braden McGregor has come on strong. He had I think a quiet training camp, but in the preseason, once the light comes on, Braden McGregor goes, "It's my time to shine." Because to me, I think he stood out over a guy like Eric Watts, who's another one who's fighting for a spot. I like Watts as well, but Tack McKinley's a vet, but I think has done enough to earn a spot here. So I like Green's answer a lot of Leonard Taylor. I think he has a very strong chance to make the roster. But to add another name in the mix, I would go Braden McGregor, who has just been consistently getting some pressures, man, these first couple preseason games.
I like that. You guys went with two really good names. I'll throw another name out there, a little bit of a curveball, but I'm going to say Xavier Newman makes this team as an interior offensive lineman. I think he's shown a little bit on tape. We already have a pretty thin interior offensive line right now. I'm not saying that I want to see him start by any means, but I'm fine with if he continues to kind of grow from someone that I really didn't want to see on the field at all of last year to at least through 2 games of preseason. I've felt, trending in the right direction. So if that'll be my little surprise one outside of defensive line. What do you think of that, Green Bean?
I like it. And I know it's funny because I was not very confident in him. But you know what I saw this last week? There were some cut ups of him.
Yeah.
I noticed a few things in the game, but the cut up was real nice. He was consistently doing something that I absolutely love for offensive linemen, which is looking for work. So when their guy, you know what I mean, there's a stunt or whatever, they wait a second, make sure that nobody's coming in their gap, and then they crush the guy next to him. You know what I mean? They're always looking for work. He's running downfield. His guy is now no longer in the play. He's running the other way. So like he was doing that very consistently. So I think, yeah, man, I think he may be coming around, and that's exciting. There's a few offensive linemen that I like in the depth for the interior that I didn't feel all that confident with going into the season. So I feel a little bit better. Xavier Newman's up top.
Yeah, and I like both your answers as far as defensive linemen that could be making this team, especially with Hassan Reddick not here. There's definitely the potential to keep that extra defensive lineman on top of everything else to avoid exposing them to waivers. So 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞, good question. That was a fun one. Hype comes in. He says, "Good to see you guys." Ryan, did you see the video I sent on Adams? Yes, I saw it. You sent it over to my Instagram. I took a look at it last night. I thought I responded to you. I guess I didn't. Very interesting. Hype asked yesterday about Davante Adams having a soft hold-in with the Raiders. He missed the last preseason game with some sort of nagging injury. Thinks that there could be a little disgruntledness. I believe this was coming by way of Chris Sims and Florio over on whatever show they're on right now. So I don't know. I don't really want to trade for Davante right now. I'd rather wait a little bit into the season to do it just because of the cost factor. But I think he's going to wind up a Jet at some point this year. I don't know, Matt, do you think that Davante Adams could be having a soft hold in?
The Jet makes me laugh. They really get me every time. We'll get to it. As far as Davante Adams, his name's going to continue to come up for as long as the Jets are good and it's perceived that the Raiders are not going to be good. I don't think a trade happens with him before the start of the season. I only think he gets dealt if the Raiders get off to a slow start. I don't really have high expectations for them this year. I look at the AFC West and it's like the Chiefs are far and away the best team in that division. And then I like Harbaugh going to the Chargers. I just don't think they're quite there yet. And like I am way down on the Raiders and Broncos this year. So I don't love that division. I think the Raiders fall out of it quickly. And if they do, then I think they change their mind and start to consider moving him by, mid-October onto the deadline.
Group chat, I do want to let you know that we have a leader in the clubhouse right now as far as a chant for our Jets-Broncos game. Dom came up with it last night. He's like, what if we chant "Play Zach Wilson" during the game?
My God, it's terrible.
Oh my God, I would laugh so
hard.
Oh,
no, yes, no, okay, yes, it makes perfect sense. Okay, I'm good.
All of us chanting "Play Zach Wilson." You guys in the chat, let us know other chants that you think would be really funny. We're going to have like 100 people in this section, and we want to get a little rowdy, and we're going to be able to start a stadium-wide chant, I think, with the 100 of us that are in this part of the stadium. So let us know what we should be chanting. Green Bean, your thoughts on Davante Adams and him possibly coming to the Jets? The thought process was maybe he's having a soft hold-in.
He's having a soft hold-in?
Yeah, not playing in the preseason game with the slight nagging injury, and there's some speculation on the part of Sims and Florio.
Yeah, I mean, I'm where you are with it, Ryan. Like, look, if they were able to get him right now, I have no issue with it. But I think it's more likely to be a before the trade deadline scenario. There's all kinds of cap ramifications and all that kind of stuff. But I think that makes more sense. I'm more focused on Mike Williams. Not that my focus means a damn thing, but just like where my thoughts are. I'm just really hoping Mike Williams can get out there for week one and even if he's not 100% yet, similar to kind of how Breece Hall was last year, if you use Mike Williams, even if he's just a decoy, just sending him deep down the right side, he's going to pull a cornerback and probably a safety with him. If you just send him down the sideline, not really throwing him the ball unless he's wide open, not risking him, over the middle or, any tackles and shit like that. I think it's really exciting the idea of having Garrett Wilson with Mike Williams out there to kind of loosen up the ground game and the threat and all that. I think just him being on the field would do that. If he's healthy, that's literally the best wide receiver tandem that we've had since Decker and Marshall. So 9 years, which is exciting. So I'd like to see where we are with everything before we start, bringing in guys and kind of mucking up the works. Again, if it's like, hey, the deal's on the table and we're going to do it, then fine, do it. I have no issue with them coming, but I think it's more likely to happen later.
I see Ryan King in the chat. What happened to being like, name buddies, Ryan? Says, what about number 43 in the return game? Freeze, Ryan. Jerk.
That's Codrington. Isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think, Bean? You like him?
Hello. I mean, the guy, he's leading the NFL in kick return right now. So, I mean, I think it's very hard not to like him. Now, it's going to be difficult for him to make the roster. They're really trying to have somebody who plays, you have potentially a Gibson or a Corley or an Isaiah Davis, those guys that are like kind of locks for the team. Maybe not Gibson. I wouldn't call him a lock yet, but guys that are short. I don't know if they want to create or not create, but like utilize an open, another roster spot for a guy that they didn't intend on making the team. But sometimes if he does it again this weekend, you might be hard pressed to let a guy like that go. He just might be that innate successful kick returner. Look at like a Devin Hester with the returns. He was never really all that good as a wide receiver, but man, he was the best. Like he just knew how to do that, man. He had that ability better than anybody else in the NFL for a number of years. So who knows? Maybe you found that guy. But it's tough. But I definitely like him, Ryan, no doubt.
Matt, what do you think about Codrington? You think he makes the roster?
So I was pulling up the Jets depth chart right now, and like he has done such a good job on returns. He is technically listed as the backup nickel right now, and Michael Carter is banged up a little bit. So maybe that bodes well for him in being depth at that spot while Carter's in the recovery process. But like I was gonna bring up another name too, like Irv Charles is someone who's pretty much a special teams only play. Like how many of these special teams only guys make it? And honestly, I would rather keep, like if my choice was Codrington or Irv Charles, I'd keep Codrington for his return ability because we saw Quantez Stiggers and Brandon Echols, I think, hold down the gunner spot and look okay in this preseason action. So honestly, if I had my choice between the two, I would rather keep Codrington over Irv Charles if you're keeping an exclusive, like special teams only kind of player.
Especially if you keep Brayton McGregor, because that dude, as a defensive end, was the first guy down the field as a gunner. Like, I mean, come on. You got him.
Yo, how about Stiggers on that one punt? I think it was their third possession of the game where the Panther player calls a fair catch and he throws the player that's guarding him into the fair catch calling player because he knows he's not allowed to touch him, but he throws him into him trying to cause a fumble. That is some heads up play by Stiggers.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
As far as Codrington, I don't know. I'm so torn because I don't know like what I'm seeing right now. Like, is he having success against other teams starting special teams units? Is it just vanilla? I know we're going to have Corley and some other guys that might line up deep. So I tend to lean a little bit more towards him not making the roster. But like Matt said, if guys are banged up and they want to have, Matt's giggling right now. Why is Matt giggling? What am I looking at? Yeah, jerk. So we'll get to that in a second. But I think that when you look at the roster, the area that you'll be able to save some bodies on, I think his linebacker, Dom and I were going over where he thought the roster would kind of shake out. He had Surratt being the 5th linebacker. I told him, I was like, I don't think we're carrying 5 linebackers. I think it's gonna be 4 linebackers at best, and we're gonna try and, fill it out somewhere else. Codrington, Irv Charles, I feel like are guys that are those roster bubbles. I would lean towards, I guess, what about Gibson too? Because I feel like Gibson's sort of on that bubble cusp as well. I feel like all 3 guys might be fighting for one of those spots. Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. I think Gibson has a leg up because of how much the Jets like him in the slot. I think they like him in the slot right now a little bit more than Corley even. And I'm not saying like I would, in my perfect world, I would be playing Malachi Corley more in the slot over Gibson, but we've seen the Jets bring on their rookies so slow in the past and years gone by. Garrett Wilson barely played week 1 and then has the game of his life in week 2. And they're like, holy shit, we got to play this kid. He's good. Sometimes the Jets are a little slow with that stuff. And I just think that they like Gibson's ability in the slot, maybe a little bit more than the fan base even does. He's listed as a starter right now on the depth chart. I know that can obviously change as we get closer, but I would consider that a surprise and a pretty big one if Gibson didn't make the team.
Hype comes in and says, freeze Ryan. It's Green Bean's payback for last week. Yeah, we got a little salty. Or maybe I got salty.
You know what? Before you freeze yourself, or you did already, right?
I freeze myself twice.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Usually when someone's frozen, the show can't hear them anymore. On the clip, you could hear me from the background. Did you make that happen, or is it now able to hear me when I'm frozen?
So I've kept it. It's been like that for a long time now. I did have it set where it would mute you, but for some reason I couldn't figure out the timing on the Stream Deck. For some reason it wasn't unmuting, so I'd always wind up having to like unmute after the animation played. So you can talk if you wanted to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At you for being talking.
I really thought I was just yelling to you two. I had no idea.
Oh, it's always fun. I love having the little power of this little snowflake on my my little Stream Deck over here, and I get to use it again because Ryan's the man. Hey Matt, any last words? Sorry, don't care. Freeze Matt. There, Ryan. Thank you. What do you think of the new kickoff? The first 2 weeks are going to be nuts. Love all you guys. Ryan, thank you so much. You're a good person. You're back in my good graces. Okay, so new kickoff. I'm excited, especially because of what Peter Schrager talked about on Good Morning Football, the potential of possibly having Quincy Williams kicking off for us and having an 11th tackler on the field. And I feel like that's something that you'll start to see. You'll see some of these little games, like the whole story of week 1 is going to be how teams do these lateral plays or end arounds or swap out a kicker for someone different. And I'm here for it. I want the excitement back on special teams, and I think that's exactly what this new rule is going to do, even though it's been a little vanilla so far. Green Bean, your thoughts on the new kickoff?
Well, I like it too. Not if for nothing else, it creates a play that the last, I don't know, decade, let's say, maybe a little less, has been removed from the sport, right? So you saw a kick return every now and again, but for the most part, it was just a very, very exciting touchback moment. And they would start at the 25 and the play is just boring, useless. So I love that there's a play where it's a penalty if you don't put it in the field of play. But I think it's going to be really interesting. Like you said, that's one of the potentials. We saw right before the half, we kicked it out of the end zone. Now, did you see that? So that was they did that on purpose. Rather than give them an opportunity to return it, they just took the penalty with only a few seconds left. So there's ways that you can kind of manipulate this that at least me, I wasn't even thinking of. I didn't even think of that, like how you can use each scenario in the game with the kickoff rule. So I don't know, man. Personally, so far, I think it's exceptional. I don't know how many big returns we'll get, or if it leads to, like, if the percentage is high for the returner to break through and get big gains or even scores. But either way, I like that it like kind of we took off the chastity belt, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like now we can live free again and have a play. So for that, I'm grateful. I'm happy because the NFL, in many other ways, is just taking so much fun out of the damn game. So putting this one back, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely more strategy when it comes to this now. The other thing that was mentioned in that same clip with Schrager talking about Quincy Williams kicking off was that Dante Hall thinks there's only going to be about 8 kick returns on the season. He thinks there's going to be less because there's going to be a little more discipline in guys staying within their lane as opposed to running down the field and having to get like pushed aside and all that. So I hadn't really considered that side of things. I figured it would probably be a little more returns. Matt, what are your thoughts on the new kickoff? And then also, what are your thoughts on Dante Hall's comments saying maybe there's not going to be as many returns because of those lanes?
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I didn't really think of it that way, to be honest with you. Kind of like you said, I figured there would be more because of these rule changes. And it's honestly through 2 weeks of the preseason, I think it's hard to say because I feel like we haven't even gotten the full thing yet. Like it's been very vanilla so far. What I'm excited for is when they start to implement the other elements like the reverses or pitching it or something like that. I think we'll have a real full idea. So I have enjoyed it so far because it's not just a dead play. It was always, kick it out of the back of the end zone and they start on the 25. But I don't think I can give a real full answer yet because we haven't fully seen what it's going to look like yet. So ask me in a month when we've seen a few regular season games. I think I can give you a better answer.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to if this play over the course of a season does not generate more injuries than any other play statistically, seeing all the really good players like a Breece Hall or like a, not that I want to see Tyreek Hill back there, but, the star players rather than maybe just players that would have otherwise been like a reserve player on special teams. Like, oh, we don't mind. We're not going to put our good players back there because we don't want them to get hurt. But if this scenario works out and the injury risk is less, then all of a sudden it opens up a little bit more flexibility on your roster because you're not necessarily having guys that are exclusively special teams guys the same way. So very much looking forward to that. Greg drops in with his member super chat. What's up, Gag? He says, I'm rooting for the guys getting second chances. Kinlaw, Simpson, McKinley, high draft picks that haven't panned out yet. These are good stories. Yeah, and not to mention they're all on, well, Simpson, I guess, is on a 2-year contract, but Kinlaw and McKinley are on 1-year deals. So if these guys ball out and they wind up signing contracts elsewhere, or maybe they find a home here and they want to stay, I'm looking forward to either scenario because I think the Jets could get a comp pick, particularly for Kinlaw, because I feel like there's a little bit, I guess they're all the same. All those guys were 2017, if I'm not mistaken, right? McKinley and Kinlaw. I don't know. Greenby, what are your thoughts on the second chance guys on our roster, particularly Kinlaw, Simpson, and McKinley?
There are some of my faves. I love Kinlaw. Now, I love him in theory, you know what I mean? But I do. I love the risk there. I love the chance. He was a guy that I wanted in free agency. This was a crazy year. Like just so many guys that I wanted in free. I mean, if they would have gotten Tyler Boyd, this would have been the purest offseason in my entire history as a Jets fan. Like, because like a lot of the names, even the obscure ones, like the Isaiah Davises of the world, like I just can't believe that the Jets finally did something that aligns with my thinking, which is, and many of our thinking, quite frankly. So it's exciting, but I gotta say, I am delighted with Takk McKinley. I think that he's in a similar sense as Kinlaw. Like you can tell he's at that point in his career, like first round pedigree, came in with, whatever ideas of greatness and it hasn't worked out. The team that drafted him lets him go. He gets signed by a team. He's on the bottom of the roster, really a long shot to make the team. And you watch him play, and it looks like a guy who realizes that. Like every single snap, whether it's against our guys, whether it's in joint practices, in the preseason game, it all looks the same. He's aggressive. He's fast. We were talking about it in the live stream with Frankie, Jeremy, and Dom this weekend for the game. like when he makes a tackle, you can see the violence to it. Like it's different. And like for me, what I pick up is a guy who realizes I might be losing this dream, and I'm going to do everything that I can to stop that from happening. So shit, man, catching lightning in a bottle like that is really fantastic. I don't know so much if Simpson is in the same category as 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐿 or Takk McKinley. They were looked at as busts. Simpson was a guy who played rather well last year. He just took a minute to kind of get going. So I think it's a little bit different, but all three of those guys I'm really excited about. Aaron Rodgers had some nice comments on Simpson this week as well. So yeah, man, I'm a big fan. I'm hoping that Takk McKinley but it's like there's not enough spots, right? Like you got Takk McKinley, Braden McGregor, Reddick comes back, all these guys. I don't know. I really like the output of Takk McKinley so far. So I'm excited for his chances to make the team.
Matt, what are your thoughts on 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐿 and McKinley and Simpson?
Yeah, so for me, I don't know. While Simpson's a second chance guy, I don't know if I include him as much as the other two because he wasn't a first round pick. He went much later. I think he was like a fourth round pick. So obviously there's not as much expected out of those guys as players who were taken in the first round. And as Greenbean rightfully pointed out, more specifically, I think with 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐿 and McKinley over someone like Simpson, but those guys are kind of playing for their NFL lives a little bit. And 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐿 obviously has a relationship with Robert Saleh going back to the days in San Fran. It was short-lived as Saleh would then, end up with the Jets here. But I think it makes sense why players want to come here and try to have that reclamation year with the Jets on the defensive side of the ball. 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻 and McKinley, I think, fit well in this system. And if there was ever a team for them to have a breakout with, I think it would be the Jets and in Robert Saleh's system.
Jake in the chat. What's up, Jake? Says, as Aaron Rodgers says, this show is the best. Yes. If you've seen our intro, we totally had Aaron Rodgers on the show. Totally.
He said it himself.
He did. Totally on.
Denzel comes in with a super chat. Thank you so much. Says, Ryan, why don't you post on your account so much anymore? Always look forward to your content. I have two kids that are under I guess now one is slightly over the age of 2. The other one just turned 1. And I have a full-time job. So I'm just not I just don't have as much time. So I try to do stuff from like the 8 p.m. to like midnight-ish hours to post for the next morning. So a little less content than I normally would want to put out. But I appreciate it all the same, Denzel. Let's see. I see everyone's talking about Modine in the chat.
Modine's an asshole, and he knows it. Hey, Mo, let me tell you.
He goes.
No, let me tell you. Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. So, 𝐒𝐿, there's one of my counselors that works for me. They were looking at my channel and they were looking through the comments, right? And they go, "Hey, this guy's being a jerk. I'm gonna reply. I'm gonna tell him, blah blah." And I said, "Hold on. Is it Modine?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Don't worry about it. That's just what he's fine. You don't have to defend me with that guy. He's just an asshole, but he's good. He's our asshole. You know what I mean?" So it was funny.
We can keep
a Buffalo Bills fan.
I think is he a Dolphins fan?
No, Bills. I think
he's Bills,
right? Fan. What is it? Bills or I think it's Bills.
I was thinking Fins.
So he's got no rings. He's pissed. Every year
he's not a Jets fan.
No, he's not a Jets fan.
Oh, he's a Pats fan.
What's he doing here?
V. Modine's a Buffalo Bills fan. Says Dakota. Modine, tell us what fan are you of? Patriots. He's not a Jets fan.
I'm
he's
seeing
a Bills
mixed
fan.
reviews. I'm seeing Pats and Mo has been around for so long and commented so many times. I just assume miserable Jets. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah. He's like if Jets Forever had a brother who I guess wasn't a Jet fan. two guys cut from the same cloth.
Well, that's why, look, that's why, there are people that come on every now and then and they get under your skin. Mo is not that guy. Like, he's been here for you. years, right? He's at every stream. He's in the live streams, for the chats. I mean, I'm sorry, for the games. And it's like he's here to try to bust balls and get under your skin. So like, if you let that's on you. You know what I mean? Like every now and then I'll put him in a timeout or something, like, all right, enough of you. That kind of shit. But he's part of the deal now. He's fucking, but the Bills, every year they're picked to win the Super Bowl and shit, and they haven't done it. That's very disappointing. Almost worse than what we see. Almost. It's nice and fun during the season, but it's gotta suck to think this is your year, and now they had to blow it all up and bring on all new wide receivers. The defense is decimated. It's gonna be tough for Mo. I feel a little bad for you, buddy. I'm sorry that your life sucks like that. You don't even have one ring, even if it's before you were born, like I do.
Yeah, at least we got the one ring, even though we are fifth in our division. We are fifth in our division in terms of division titles. Riddle me that. That sucks.
Fifth, I know, dude. It's just
brutal.
The craziest wrinkle.
We could win the AFC East. I think it's 3 more times, and we'd still be fifth.
Oh my God,
it's brutal. For you youngins in here that don't realize what we're talking about, the Indianapolis Colts used to be in the AFC East and have more division championships than our lowly New York Jets. But we got a ring.
Yeah.
So screw Buffalo.
That's right.
Peter S. in the chat, thanks so much for the 5 spot, says, it cannot be understated how nice these new unis are. I believe the Jets should play their starters for 1 or 2 series versus the Giants. Agree or no? Ooh. So do we want to take... Everyone should vote in the live chat right now, because we are like almost at a dead heat between button-ups versus button-downs. I'm like shocked how close this winds up being. Because I want to do a poll question of, should the starters play at all, yes or no, as far as poll question goes. But I guess we'll give our thoughts first before we open it up to the chat. My thinking is I don't want them to play. And the thought process there is I don't think the Giants are necessarily going to play their starters. And if they do, there's still a bunch of guys that are trying to like earn their starting role. And I don't want some, I don't call him a gym class hero, whatever, like some hero practice squad player trying to make the team and his last gasp of NFL juice. And he's like, I can make a name for myself if I clean Aaron Rodgers' clock. I don't want that happening. So I would be more than okay just going into the season with a little bit of rust going into the 49ers game than rolling the dice on our starters playing and someone getting hurt, especially since Salah had already ruled out Rodgers, and then he's like, well, I guess if Rodgers wants to play, we'll have that discussion. And Rodgers now says, it's totally up to Robert. I think you just say no, and you just call it what it is, and you just go into the regular season. So I would say no starters versus the Giants, but I would say I want to see Olu, I want to see Will McDonald, and that's probably about it. Matt, your thoughts on starters versus the Giants?
So I'm going to take a very middleman Matt stance and say that I could see both sides of the coin on this one. I really can. From what you're saying, you don't want to put your guys in a risky spot against someone who has nothing to lose, so to speak. We unfortunately saw that with Mark Sanchez in 2013 when he goes in against third stringers and with like 4th string offensive line, and then he ends up getting hurt and you lose him for the season. It's frustrating, when stuff like that happens. At the same time, to the people who say, well, I'm nervous that they're not going to gel right away at the start of the year. I think they need their reps. That makes sense too. And I get that argument on it. Honestly, I am not going to worry about it because I think Robert Saleh has already made it clear that they're not going to play. I know he's said that, we'll decide on after Wednesday, but every single thing, like just reading tea leaves, is pointing to the Jets not playing their starters. They had a rest day today right before their joint practice, which they've treated the joint practices like games. So essentially today was like a walkthrough before their game action or scrimmage against the Giants starters tomorrow. So I think we're going to be watching the Andrew Peasley, Adrian Martinez, and Brandon Smith show against the Giants. I would not expect to see any Garrett Wilson catches from our guy, unfortunately.
Green Bean, starters playing versus the Giants, yes or no?
Well, I'm talking to Palikar in the chat. He brought up another time. We played our starter, Chad Pennington, in the preseason game against the Giants. Some scrub went in, grabbed a little bit late. By today's standards, it would have absolutely been a penalty. Picked Chad Pennington up, slammed him on his wrist, broke his wrist, out for the season. I'd rather sit Aaron Rodgers. Just like you said, I want to see him. I like the idea of one drive, but just like you said, dude, they're in the joint practices. They're doing the whole thing. Going out there and putting him on the field with second, third stringers, trying to make a name for themselves, playing a little bit for, after the whistle, just all that kind. It's not worth it. You said it perfectly. I'd rather them have a little bit of rust than starting the season with Tyrod Taylor.
I see Mr. Jason Edwards going to be joining us for the Week 4 game against the Broncos. Says, Ryan, we have the most important NFL victory by winning Super Bowl III. Our gift to the league. Will another this season? We'll have another this season. That's what he's trying to say. Yes, Super Bowl III, one of the most important wins in NFL history, because who knows, league may not have actually held together if it were not for us Jets winning the Super Bowl that year. Matt, do you have any talking points ready for the 9 o'clock hour by chance? And if so, give me the nod.
Yes.
All right, boys and girls, we're going to go over to Mr. Matt O'Leary.
Sundays are for the boys, the game, and of course, Chubbies. Whether you're tailgating, hitting the grill, or kicking back on the couch with the boys, Chubbies premium shorts and gear are designed to keep you comfortable and looking sharp from kickoff to the final whistle. Nothing screams game day like the comfort and style of Chubbies. Chubbies, where comfort meets game day vibes, from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks in 3 inseam lengths to pants, polos, and button-down shirts, not button-up, button-down shirts, for when you need to put down a few cold ones with the fellas. Chubbies shorts are made from high-quality fabrics that keep you cool and dry no matter how intense the game gets. When you're deeply invested in the game, you need threads that are going to be there for you as you sweat, scream, jump for joy, or even sulk in disappointment. There's no better gear to run through the gambit of emotions on game day than Chubbies. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code that you are seeing on the screen. Talkin. Use code Talkin at chubbiesshorts.com.
Wow. Sorry to interrupt you. You said button up, button down. I was all confused. But look at this. Look at the grr. You can let the grrr out underneath. Here you got the stretchy pants. Look at that. Ugh.
I love these shirts.
Look at how flexible you can get. It's absolutely wonderful.
You've got the shorts. You're showing off the thigh there, my guy.
I know. Yeah. There's you got a little bit of lack of tan action, and that's okay.
Hey, Matt, did you get the shorts like Ryan, or did you go a little longer like Bean?
I go 7-inch inseam. I don't. The 9 is a little too long. The 5 is a little short for me. 7 kind of splits the difference.
I think
I go like 7. This. What's the longest you got? That's what I want. I'm not showing shit. Okay. I'm a dainty little bra.
It's okay. You could slut it up a little bit, Green Bean.
I'm no trollop.
Not gonna judge you. This is no judgment zone.
I'm not a little hussy like Ryan.
I got 4-way stretch on, so I am super comfortable. I can stretch and do all the movements I need to move within the cockpit. I can do some jumping. I'm hitting my light above me and stuff. Look at this.
Yeah.
So much room for activities.
I think the great point is they had something for all three of us, right? So Ryan, who wants to show off his very tight buns, Matt, who's in the middle, middle of the road, Matt again, and then Bean, who's very, very modest. I don't like to show anything. They are, I'm telling you, this is the honest truth, right? Like, I got this stuff, I put it on. My wife said to me, "Ooh, I like those." And I did the thing that wrong. I went down like this. And I said, you know what? I love these things. And the shirt is great. Like, I honest to God love these things. I love the shirt. I love the shorts. I'm being honest with you guys. I think they might be my favorites. That's the honest truth.
I could actually wear them. I almost thought this thing was reversible because of how like colorful the inside was. I don't know if your guys' shirts do that too, but it's like.
No, I got a big tag on the inside and the back.
Do I have a big tag? I don't think I have got a big tag.
Maybe I have a different style shirt.
Head over.
I love it. I broke it out for date night already, so it's already. This is my second wear. I washed it too. Like this is the second wear with it.
I like it. Yeah, I've worn these once because we just got them in last week, so we're like, oh, we got to do it next week. Okay, everyone, make sure your clothes are semi clean, like at least clean enough to like look clean on screen. So there you are. Did this, figured it out. It's awesome. If you guys want to support the channel, head down. I don't think we linked it in the description, but head over to. I'm gonna throw Matt back on the screen because I didn't do this. Bam! ChubbiesShorts.com/Talkin and get 20% off using code Talkin. We'd love to have you support us. Tommy comes in the chat. Where is my mouse? Sorry.
You
what
lost
happens
it.
When my stupid mouse died, so my mouse isn't moving now, and it's annoying. And sorry, gotta use the other mouse. All right. There we go. So, Tommy, I can't throw your super chat on the screen, but thank you so much for the $5 donation. If I see another comment in here, I will throw it up.
I don't see anything else from our guy Tommy, but much appreciated for the dono.
𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 pops in, says, I don't know how anyone is dry watching you three. I know. It's tough.
Oh, my God. 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 is a rambunctious fella, isn't he?
It sounds like he's got a chubby. JK in the chat says, going to Las Vegas soon. Any high odd jet bets? Well, you could go over to BetUS if you want to do that. But we definitely have a bunch of. Look, I would throw a little bit of cheddar on Breece Hall winning Offensive Player of the Year because I would imagine the odds are still pretty good for a non-quarterback, and I am buying all the Breece Hall stock. We're going to have more opportunities as opposed to seeing all these 3-and-outs we had last year. So I think you have a very good opportunity, even with Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis in the backfield and Aaron Rodgers coming back. I think Breece has a good shot at winning Offensive Player of the Year. Matt, what would you say your bet to go with might be?
That is a great one. Breece Hall is plus 1,400, by the way, for Offensive Player of the Year. So if you don't know, that's bet 100, win 1,400. If that comes through and hits. That's a fun one. Obviously, Super Bowl, right? How do you not put a
plus
sprinkle on the
2,000, I think, is
ball?
where we're at.
Division, they're now the favorites. Should have gotten in on the division a while ago when they were like third in odds. Now a favorite at plus 170. I don't know. I like the player prop stuff too. So if you could find like, I believe there's an Aaron Rodgers to throw 30+ touchdown passes. Maybe you get in on that.
That's a good one. Green Bean, any props you like this year for the Jets?
Not the truth is not yet. I am about to I have my BetUS account and I'm about to start digging in. So I didn't really look. I'm a big fan though of over-unders. Like I tend to have a relatively good read. And I'll tell you why. I used to play a lot of AC-Deucey. Do you guys remember AC-Deucey? And back in the days when that game was in casinos, it was called Red Dog. I used to sit at, and I know why they took it out. You can't find it in any casino in the world anymore. I used to sit down at the Red Dog table in Atlantic City and win thousands of dollars. I would just be like, there, boom, bing, boom. I just it was like, just give me the money. It's just a process that, so it was only there a couple of years. But so I like over-unders because I tend to have a relatively good feel for what's going to happen. I will say the Aaron Rodgers 26.5, Matt? Is that what it was?
That's the line for the over-under, yes.
For his touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Has he ever thrown under 27?
I think his last healthy year in Green Bay was 26.
Was 26? I think it's 27.
Yeah,
but
I know the 30 touchdown mark he's done it twice, the 2 MVP years.
I gotta look.
he hasn't had over 30 touchdowns since I think 2017 outside of those 2 MVP years.
Let me take a look here. Okay. So, all right, he had 26 in 2022. You're right, Matt. He had 37, 48, 26, 25. Okay, so he did. All right, 16 in 2017, 40, 31, 38. Then he had, so it's an interesting one because it's like right in that pocket, and they know what they're doing. But I believe, this is what I believe. I believe it's somewhat of it seems like, of course, he's going to do that. But the Jets are going to focus on the running game this year. They're not only telegraphing it, they're downright telling you that they're going to focus on it. They used 2 draft picks on bruising running backs. They have Breece Hall. Aaron Rodgers talked about the cyclical trends and the Jets are ahead of the trend and all that kind of stuff. So it might be one of those weird years where an Aaron Rodgers 25 touchdown, 24 touchdown season is exactly what the doctor ordered as far as what we need to win, that we're rolling down the field a lot of the time with rushing. And then, we're getting down there and Breece Hall's able to get the 6 yards into the end zone kind of a thing. So it's a really interesting one to explore. You got to go in there, factor in everything, right, Matt?
Absolutely. You got to factor in every single thing, especially as you mentioned, the run game is going to be such a big factor in it too. So anything Breece Hall related, I am scouring for lines on, because I think he's the one in this offense that's going to really dominate, I think.
Yeah, and I would even argue the receiving aspect of it, which I think makes this particular bet so interesting, because it's like 26 touchdowns is that tipping point, like Green Bean was saying, but also like you're expecting when you think receiving touchdowns, passing touchdowns, you're thinking wide receivers, you're thinking tight ends. Breece Hall calls himself wide receiver 2 in a tweet post one of our practices, and we see him how good he is catching the ball out of the backfield. It's going to be interesting to see what winds up happening when everything shakes out. Ryan King comes in with a 20 spot. Thank you so much. He says, freeze Green Bean. Bye-bye bean.
Oh, no.
Drop your freeze beans in the chat. 1970 called. They want their shirt back, Green Bean. You're not safe. Put them on ice.
I love 1970.
See, I feel like I'm Magnum PI over here with the florally patterns and whatnot. We got Tommy. There's Tommy. There's shirt. I know. Oh, I love pattern shirts. I have so many pattern shirts, and now I gotta actually occasionally dress up in nice suits and stuff. And I was like, dang it, I gotta rework my whole wardrobe. I can't go in with spacemen hitting golf shots off a moon.
That's cool. I like that. I like a pattern shirt also, but I felt like I had a lot, so I wanted to go something a little more simple. So I went the gingham style instead.
I like it. Tommy Work drops in. Here's a super chat from before, or the comment that was supposed to come with the super chat. He says, what's up, Talkin' Jets crew? Green Bean, I'm a Virginia Jets fan too since 2009. I'm hyped for the season and looking forward to the Jets-Broncos game for my second game at MetLife. Tommy, I love it. I'm assuming that means you're coming with us, or are you just meeting us there? Either way, we're excited to see you.
Yeah, you got to come with us, man.
Hell yeah. There was someone on Jet Nation saying, oh, my wife and I are going on our honeymoon, and we're going to they're coming from overseas to the Jet game for Jets Broncos. I was like, yo, you got to come out and hang out with us. Send him the link to Tailgate Joe, because he's already got his tickets and whatnot. But yo.
Oh, and by the way, everybody, the day before that game, we're doing the Coney Island. We're calling it the Talkin' Jets Coney Island Takeover this year, because I am in talks with Luna Park. I've been talking to them all week, and by me, I mean somebody that's doing it for me. But per my request, so we're talking with Luna Park about having extra space for us, the ability to hang up banners, the ability to film on the rides, also having the pizza place kind of all in one package. Right there's a good pizzeria right across the street that has lots of room. So we're kind of working out the details. But if you're going to be in town for the game, whether you're local, from New York or New Jersey, or if you're flying in, like make the weekend out of it. We are going to have an absolute blast. I can already tell you that us three will be there. Jeremy will be there. Dom C will be there. Nick Shine will be there. Jake Assman so far has committed. Whether or not, we'll see. He seems like a lock. I'm going to extend it to Richie and Tyson and all those guys. I know Sack is coming, so it's going to be quite the collection of people. And I know so many people in our chats that are already committed to going, that have gone in years past. So we're going to have an absolute blast, man. It's going to be really organized this year. So I'll give everybody the details once it's nailed down, but we're already zeroing in on some pretty cool shit, man. So we'll go to Coney Island the day before, and then we'll go to Tailgate Joe in the MetLife Stadium parking lot with the Talkin' Jets ticket buy, and watch the Jets beat up on the Broncos. Hopefully it's Zach starting. And we got a chant contest, right, Ryan?
Yeah, we gotta figure out. We gotta hammer down the chant, because we're gonna have so many people in this section that I think we can get the entire crowd at MetLife to start chanting whatever we're chanting. So it could be silly, be fun. I don't think we want it to be too vulgar, so keep it like, family friendly for the Jet game, but very much would like to get some kind of chant going with all of us there in attendance. Daniel is hopping in the chat. He says, if I buy 2 game tickets, will the seats be together? So I haven't dished out the game tickets to everyone yet for that exact reason, because I did have someone else reach out saying, hey, my buddy bought an individual ticket. I bought an individual ticket. We didn't realize that we would have bought it together, but can we sit together? So I'm going to wait till our last few are sold out, and then I'm just going to match everyone up for what I see fit. And if you buy 2 tickets, yes, you 2 will be together. So Daniel, if you want to head over there, we do have a limited amount of tickets left, so make sure if you are going to get in on it that you do get in on it soon. But we'd love to have you out there. It's a lot of fun. It's our second time doing the big group buy, and it was a lot of fun last year going down on the field. It's going to be a lot of fun this year because we're going to win. That's what's going to happen. We need it. Jason, who's going to be at the Talkin' Jets Week 4 game, says Brees has a slight chance of 100 receptions this year. He wasn't utilized in the first 6 games and got 76-ish receptions. Could you imagine Brees getting 100 receptions out of the backfield? That would be bonkers. I think he's definitely... I think he's definitely going to get 2,000 yards. I think with the emergence of Braylon Allen, maybe that becomes a little bit tougher if they try to keep him healthier longer throughout the season. But I would love to see Brees get involved with the passing game more, because it just takes one cut and he's juking the shoes out of a linebacker or a nickel corner, something like that, as opposed to having to run through the offensive line and the defensive line and go through the different levels of the defense. I love seeing Brees out in space. Matt, your thoughts on Brees getting 100 receptions this year?
Yeah, by the way, just in case it wasn't clear, that's insane was like, that was a reaction to the thought of him actually getting it. That wasn't at Jason, because he's right. And the fact that a Jets running back could catch him 100 passes in a season is downright wild. Wild stuff. Was it, how many did he have last year? Was it 76?
That's what Jason is saying. Yeah.
And think about it. After the Giants game, Hackett said, it's really interesting. We're learning that Brees Hall can be utilized as a passing threat.
Then he could catch the football.
He catch it. This is really cool.
Yeah, he's going to be a special player this year. I am so excited for Brees Hall. So also, I'm looping this all together here. It's slightly off topic, but on the topic of Brees Hall, I'm upset because in one of my fantasy drafts, which drafts tomorrow, I know for a fact I won't be able to draft Brees Hall. And let me explain why. So have you ever played it with a super flex? It's essentially a 2-quarterback league. Yep. So this is my first time playing. The commissioner switched up. They wanted to do no defense, no kicker, 2 flexes, and a super flex. So there's such an emphasis on quarterbacks, and I got the number 1 pick in the draft. So the obvious choice would be either Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts because of their rushing ability and what they add. And by the time it loops all the way back to me, I know there's no way Brees is still going to be there, but maybe Garrett. I'm hoping to get Garrett on the loop back around at pick. It's a 10-team league, so that'd be pick 20, I guess.
Man, that's rough. Yeah, super flex league is tough because if you got to get a quarterback early. It's got to be one of the first picks. I have anytime I'm in the first round, so it sucks. I'm in a few underdog drafts and stuff, and my name is Jets Talk 24/7 on there, so everyone knows when Ryan's picking at number 6 or number 5, and Breece Hall is on the board. They're just going to take Breece right in front of me. It's the most frustrating thing. It's happened to me, like, no joke, probably 3 or 4 times in the different drafts that I've done. If I have the first pick overall in a regular standard league, I am going Breece Hall all day. Very much bullish on our boy Breece. Green Bean, who would you say would be your first pick in a fantasy draft if you had the number 1 overall pick?
Breece Hall.
I love it.
I don't know about
in a standard league.
I don't even understand. Right. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, Matt's going nuts. Matt's smarter than me. He's more into this stuff than me. He pays it. He's higher than me in this world. Right. He's bigger, better, all that stuff. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So in a regular fantasy league, they go, okay, you're first, when I had the first pick 2 years ago, I took Jonathan Taylor. And he got injured like game 3, sucked. First game, he was like, I'm going to win this league, but it's like incredible. And he flamed out. But if I had the first pick this year, I'm taking Breece Hall without question.
Ron Weiss in the chat says, guys, please put out a call for an extra ticket for tomorrow's camp in the chat. Much obliged. If anyone has any extra tickets for tomorrow's Jets-Giants joint practice and you can't make it, let us know. We'll open it up to the floor for guys in the chat. Clearly, Ron's looking for a ticket. If you guys can, if you can't make it, be nice to get some Jet fans out there that can. Let's see. I see Snowball in the chat saying, is there a Jets Discord, Talkin' Jets Discord for channel members? So there is a Discord for the channel. There is a channel member portion of the Discord that we unlock. You just have to link your YouTube account to your Discord account and you gain access to it. Normally that's going to be for like some group watch sessions on certain things. We talked about it last year doing some like live watch party type things in there where you could watch the game with us, even though it's not going to be shown on the screen for the stream itself, but maybe on the back end. Haven't really worked out what we're going to do for it this year, but there is a section over there if you want to take a peek.
Do we have the Discord linked in the description?
I think it's in the description. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at.
I'm not seeing it.
Maybe I don't have it in there. Let's see. Talking Jets. No, you know what? I'm gonna have to add it. I thought I had it in there. I must have put it on a. You know what I'll do? I'll set up Nightbot to just populate it into our chat so people can actually join it. It's a lot of fun. We have all 3 of our videos automatically post to the Discord. So if you're hanging out in the Discord and you want to get notified that one of us has dropped a video, so it's all 3 of our individual channels plus Talkin' Jets all populate into there, so you can kind of find us all in one little spot. I did have, what was I going to do? I was going to throw one. Zachary saying, isn't tomorrow just season ticket holders? It was only on sale for season ticket holders. I was able to acquire a ticket through our boy Petey Pablo, the Twitter guy from Jets Commute. He hooked it up, got me a ticket. So very excited. I'll be going. I'll try to do an every throw from or an every snap from the first team units for the joint practice because I think it'd be pretty fun to see Sauce go up against Malik Neighbors or Reed go against Neighbors and just, the whole 1v1s, especially since we may not see it come the preseason game for Jets Giants. So it is, but if anyone has an extra ticket, we will give them away on the show. Let's see. But the black market is great. Yeah, I don't think you should have to buy free tickets. It's kind of
that's lame. If you're selling tickets to training camp, you're bottom of the barrel human. There, I said it.
Big old douche canoe. That's what you are. Let's see. What are we talking about?
Does my mic sound bad tonight?
Your mic sounds fine.
I'm being told I sound like I'm in a phone booth. Is that right? I am in a phone booth, though, so that's kind of appropriate.
I think you're fine. You sound fine on my side. Matt, how's he sound?
I think he sounds okay.
All right, Farouk, it's you.
Duncan says Ryan assigning seats for the group buy to the game is rigged. Damn right. Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan. Unfortunately, you got to sit on the roof next to the light fixture. That's your seat.
Yeah, it was funny. We told our group buy person, we're like, hey, we need one ticket behind the goal post all the way up top where you can't see.
Yeah, that's tough.
One ticket.
That's
just for you. Oh, man. I'm selling them for a kidney only, says Modine. See? So at least it's not money. It's only kidney.
Yeah. We all have an extra one. We should all sell our kidneys for Jets tickets. What do you guys think? Want to do it as a group?
Just a charity kidney donation. Be great.
Exactly.
So 61% of our chat is saying that the starters should not play versus the Giants, and I would say that is where I think all of us are.
I thought it would be closer to 50-50, honestly.
So am I.
Matt, you were on the play side?
Huh?
You're on the play-em side?
Not really. I'm on the I don't really care side, which I know is really bad for podcasting and being on a talk show, but I don't really have a strong feeling on it one way or the other. Last year, I definitely did not want them to play, and they did. And this year, I'm like, if they play, fine. If not, that's also kind of fine. And it seems like they're not.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite of where I was last year. I wanted to see Rodgers last year. This year, I'm like, I've seen enough. I'm good. I can wait.
Right. Guys, we got to get some milk thumbs in here. We got 260 people watching. We got 123 likes. Let's get the like button going. Smash the milk thumbs. I want to put some qualifiers on the list so we can have a nice, robust giveaway at the end. Yeah, sorry, Ryan. There you go. Milk thumbs.
Oh,
good.
Milk thumbs. Sports is saying, you guys think it's important to get wins early because easy schedule. I think it's important to get wins because that's how you get into the playoffs.
Yep.
Yes.
Here's what I think the best scenario is you need the wins early. Like, absolutely. I think it's very important to start the season on a high note, but the middle of the season, you also want to get some wins, right? And then at the end of the year, like November, December, you want to win those games. So, like, that's what I think. And the way you do that, it's very important to score more points than the other team. So, like, it's simple. I think we overcomplicate this thing. Wins in the beginning, wins in the middle, wins at the end. See? If we do that, we're going to be fine, sports.
Sodak says, so are we dropping Clemens to the bottom of the depth chart or what? We were talking yesterday, like, could he be, like, if there was one surprise cut on the roster, who could it be? And, like, because of the depth on the defensive line, I would say Clemens would be a shocker for me, but I couldn't really think of any other players that would also fall in that same, like, surprise factor for me. Matt, any thoughts on a surprise cut?
Now, I'm not a soccer guy, but there's a great meme of a coach who says, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble. That's me on this one. I smirk and shrug. Do I think Michael Clemens should be on the second wave of the rotation? No, I don't. I think I like what I've seen out of Takk McKinley more than Michael Clemens this preseason and training camp. I've liked what I've seen from Braden McGregor too. I would say more, but I think the coaching staff really likes Michael Clemens, so I would be surprised if they did boot him. I think that would classify as a surprise because of how much the staff values him. I mean, with Hassan Reddick out, he's essentially been the starter opposite of Jermaine Johnson. So going from that to you're on the bottom of the depth chart or off the roster would be a pretty big change of pace.
Green Bean, any player that you would think is a surprise cut, and what are your thoughts on Clemens?
I'm not as down on Clemens as other people. I see, look, I don't think he's ever going to be, Reddick or your Huff or any of those guys. I just don't think that's what we're going to see. But I think he's solid. And again, they did that whole experiment with him last year and all that shit. So I'm not down. Again, I don't want to get into it all again, but I think he could very easily replicate JFM's output. My problem with Clemens is the ability for people to get into his head. And teams will do that. Like, that'll be the plan. Just rattle that guy. He'll make mistakes. He'll get penalties. He'll think with anger, and he'll, you can easily frazzle people that are angry. That's my concern with him. But I also agree with Matt. Like, the young guy, McGregor, and then you got Takk McKinley. You have Will McDonald. Like, it's real hard for me to justify. Like, look, I brought up in my podcast this week, there was it happens often, but there was one really glaring example for me, which was years ago. I think it was like the early 2000s. We had Atari Bigby on our squad, and he was a back end of the roster guy, and he was trying to make the team. And all he did all preseason was make plays. And like, he would get a pick this game and 4 tackles. And then he did this, the last preseason game of the year, he had 2 picks, ran one back like 60 yards. It was like, he was everywhere. And it was like, you can't cut this guy. But we were like married to the guys we already liked or we drafted or whatever. And we cut him. And he went to the Packers and had a great career. And I just hate to see, and then like for a guy who was fine for a couple years, and I see Clemens as one, like, I like him, I think, more than some Jets fans, probably a little more than maybe Matt, but I don't want to cut a guy like a Braden McGregor. Like, if you're down to that, like Takk McKinley, who's done nothing but make plays, all training camp, all preseason, I'd hate to cut a guy like that because you like Clemens, and then you lose the really high upside that some of these guys bring. So I don't know. I think Clemens is in that mix. I mean, 𝐒𝐵RICK came out. He seems to think he's doing a bang up job. 𝐒𝐵RICK sings his praises. So I think it's a long shot. But I'll tell you what, I think probably the guy that I see as, somebody who was on the roster last year that's really in danger of being cut, and that's Jason Brownlee. I think he had 2 drops this game, and hasn't really done much. He did have the touchdown week 1, which was really nice. Great catch, got his feet in. It wasn't an easy catch, but by and large, he hasn't done much. And you got a guy like Brandon Smith, who's catching contested catches, he's catching balls in traffic. He's streaking down the field. He's diving for like over the shoulder stuff. All he does is catch the ball, whether it's an underneath thing, if it's down the field. How do you cut a guy like that for Jason Brownlee? I just don't see it. So I think Jason Brownlee would probably be the guy that I say is really in the most danger if we're talking about guys that were on the roster last year and are in danger of being supplanted this year.
That's a good thought. I think especially the addition of Mike Williams sort of neutralizes a little bit of that height need, and the reemergence of Allen Lazard, I think, is making us feel a little bit better. Jason comes in and says, hello, you play to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Alan drops in. What's up, Alan? He says, nice hat, Green Bean. I got here late. Hassan Reddick is still paying to not be a Jet. Couldn't he give me the money instead? Yeah. Hey, just like Saffold took our lunch money, never showed up. Hassan Reddick just giving away money to sit at home like a big old dummy. What do you think, Green Bean? You think Hassan Reddick makes it back into camp prior to week 1, or you think we're seeing a holdout?
Well, you know what sucks about this kind of stuff? Like, we're looking at, these are all, by and large, egocentric men, right? And there's a lot of money at stake. And sadly, I can see a scenario where no one wants to leave with egg on their face. Nobody wants to, give in. It's like playing chicken. Nobody wants to be the guy who quits first, you know? So I could see like stubbornness prevailing here and him just, he's this far into it. He's lost $1.5 million. I'm going to just hold out now. Like I can see that just to save face. And that's sad to me. I still think it's foolish and that he will be here, but that resolve I had maybe 2 weeks ago is starting to dissipate somewhat. It's looking grim and I don't like it.
Matt, you think Reddick's here for week 1?
I don't know. It's getting real late, man. It's getting real late early around here. I don't know when the end is going to come. I don't know when the end is coming for this one. I think both sides, I said it earlier in the episodes, but I think this is a time where both sides need to kind of meet in the middle and get this done, because Reddick can't afford to sit out the season. So it almost feels like, what are we waiting for? And then from the Jets side of it, like they need this guy, and their toughest matchup is right out of the gate in week 1. The longer you wait, like, is he going to have enough time to ramp up for week 1 even? We're getting close to that cutoff point.
Yeah.
I think next week is probably that limit, right? Because I think the last example that I thought of was Revis in 2010, where he signed, it was a week before the first game and ended up playing. Now, granted, he hurt his hamstring in week 2 and then missed a couple games. So he was back and then got banged up and then had to come back again. So I don't want to see that for Reddick. Like, get in here now so we can ramp this guy up for the toughest team on the schedule in week 1.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a battle back and forth. The Jets come out, win week 1. Maybe there's a little more emphasis for him to want to come in. Maybe he's hoping the Jets stumble out of the gate and we come back and Joe Douglas says, hey, you know what? We'll give you what you want. Let's get you in here because we want to win. And every game that we lose is getting us one, tick lower on that list we want to be on. William comes in with a super chat. Thank you so much. Says hello to the 3 most handsome content creators. Shucks. Be careful. You don't want to get a chubby, or do you? Promo code Talkin. I don't know if they would appreciate that. I might not be allowed to say that, and that's okay. Let's see. I saw some other stuff in here. Abe says, if Chaz Surratt makes the roster over Zaire Barnes, I'm going to be way more down on Salah than I've been before. Barnes should absolutely make this roster over Surratt. I don't think Surratt should be, practice squad at best. I think we're keeping 4 guys. Matt, what are your thoughts on Barnes versus Surratt?
Yeah, they keep 4 linebackers, and Barnes is the 4th linebacker. I think I liked what we've seen in training camp from him. You spent a draft pick on him. Chaz Surratt, a nice story. He also gets banged up a lot too. This is the second preseason in a row where he's gotten hurt. So unfortunately, I'm going to say a practice squad guy for Chaz Surratt.
So really interesting comment from our good buddy Modine. Says Trent Williams, the bigger no-show, and that helps the Jets in a very good way. So the Jets are without Hassan Reddick. Trent Williams and the 49ers in a little bit of a stalemate as well. Greenbean, what are your thoughts? What has the bigger impact, Reddick for us or Williams for the 49ers?
I agree. I think because they're behind him is Jalen Moore, who's not bad, but he's not Trent Williams, and he's a little bit, if he has a downside, it's his pass blocking. So he'll be over there with Jermaine Johnson, who will steal his lunch, quite frankly. And I think that's not what the 49ers want to see. I think Trent Williams is pivotal to their success. Reddick is going to up our output and our pass rush, and there's no doubt he's going to make us better. But I think Trent Williams is a linchpin in what they're talking about. I actually, very rare case, but I agree with Modine right here.
Matt, what do you think? Trent Williams, bigger loss for the 49ers than Reddick is for the Jets?
Yeah, and Reddick's a big loss, but I would say, left tackle is significantly more important. He's a better left tackle than Hassan Reddick is an edge, and Hassan's a great edge. It's just that Trent Williams is arguably the best left tackle in the sport right now. So losing him, I think, would be a bigger blow. And Christian McCaffrey's also banged up right now too. His status is up
Ayuk
in
might
the
get
air.
traded.
Yeah, Ayuk could be traded. I saw somewhere that they're working on a deal with Ayuk, but that obviously hasn't come to fruition yet. But lots of things up in the air for the 49ers, which kind of goes back to I want the Jets at full strength because this might be the chance to get them. So you better get them early.
Yeah.
Dano.
They have 26 injuries right now.
Is that really? I guess out of
Yeah,
like
they
100
actually-
players, like full roster.
Yeah, well, they can't. Yeah, but they canceled their joint practice last week. They had so many injuries.
Wow. Yeah, it's not good.
That's crazy.
Don't want to be canceling practices because you can't field a team in practice.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like, do you want the Niners at full strength? Do you want to be able to say you beat them at full? I don't give a shit. If they show up with 26 injured players, and so be it, man. Stomp their fucking face in the mud. Pardon my French. I didn't mean to say mud.
Green bean. I wanted to be all high and mighty and say I want to play them at full strength because that's what I said last week. But you're talking me more and more into the like, hey, yeah, if you guys can just be like really injured and just not ready to go, and maybe like you burnt your tongue on some hot coffee and can't relay the play to the rest of the players, yeah, that would be fantastic. Let's have it happen.
I mean, look, like it's not like we're rooting for it, right? But I'm not gonna complain if it's happening. And then you go from like if we win Monday night, week 1, in front of the world, that's great. Then we go into Tennessee, into Nashville, and that's a good matchup for us. I mean, no game is a pushover. I'm not insinuating that, but it's a good matchup for us. You go 2-0 into our home opener again Thursday night against the Patriots, a depleted Patriots, and we're literally looking at a scenario where we could be 3-0. I don't give a shit how that happens. 3-0 is a damn good place to start heading into our ticket buy meetup. Come on, imagine going to watch the 3-0 New York Jets. Can I, have we ever? I know I haven't.
Oh, God, no.
Not in a long, long time. Definitely not with the three of us. We haven't seen them.
Last time I saw an undefeated Jets team in the Al-Groh year. Like I went to, I guess we were like, I think we might have been 3-0 because we ended up being 5-0 that year.
That 2000, that was the miracle year, right?
Well, we ended up losing the last game of the year. We ended up being 9-7. We played we played the record-breaking Ravens defense on Christmas, the last game of the year.
Yes.
And it was so great, though, because they were talking about, like, they wanted to shut us out and all this kind of shit. And we came out and we were up 14-0 in the first quarter. I was at my girlfriend's house on Christmas. I was acting a fool. Those were my drinking days, too. They were like, can you please, like, grandma's here. I'm like, fuck you, grandma. Like, that's how I was. Like, this is out of control. 14-0. And we lost. That's how it goes.
Story of our lives.
Yeah, but that's the last time I saw like an undefeated Jets team. It was, I mean, what year? That was 1999. No, that was 2000. 24 years ago.
Damn. Dano comes in and says, who do you think you'd be most shocked in making the final 53? Had I asked you a few months ago, and like who's raised their stock the most and is getting a spot when you didn't think they could? I would say Izzy's making this roster, and I didn't think he would, and that's purely because I think Tariq Cohen retiring helped him. I don't know if I'd be on the Izzy bandwagon without that. So I guess surprise for me, kind of Izzy. I guess I'll go there. Matt, what would you say? Surprise person making the 53.
For someone you asked me a month ago to now, I would say Takk McKinley. I thought, I was like, he's going to come in and compete. But I don't know. It's kind of an uphill battle at that spot. And with no Hassan Reddick, I think he's gotten a long look here and an opportunity. I think he's cashed in on that. So I wouldn't, if you asked me a month ago to do a 53-man roster, there's no shot I would have put Takk McKinley on it. So that'd be me.
Creamy, what about you? Surprise player you think is going to make the 53?
Yeah, most shocked. I like what you said though about Izzy because he's running hard. And like if we do want to have that, like what I keep talking about, that like kind of getting ahead of the curve and like the NFL trending back toward rushing attacks and taking advantage of the smaller, dime defenses and all that kind of thing. It's not a bad idea to have a fourth back. You know what I mean? And Izzy's not exactly small. He's very similar build to Breece Hall. Clearly, he just, quite frankly, doesn't have the talent Breece Hall has. But what he does have, he has that extra gear that Breece doesn't have. Like if he does get into the open field, he can cook you. And where Breece, while he's not slow or but he's I don't think there's any real debate that Izzy has that speed that he's kind of he's singular in our group in that respect. So, I mean, I wouldn't be blown away if he made it too, but I'm going to say if I have the guy, I don't know about shocked because we're watching him, but I agree with Matt. I think Takk McKinley, I think it's going to be damn near impossible to cut him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just performed well. Like through all the training camp, through the games, it's been impressive to watch him play. So I'm here for this. What was that?
It's been consistent. Like it's not like the issue with Leonard Taylor, right? Like I think I really like him too, but he's been more up and down. Like Takk McKinley from the first practice on, and I remember saying like in the beginning, like relax, he's going against Austin Deculus. Everybody, just let's chill out. But it's been from that first practice all the way through training camp, all the way through the joint practices, both preseason game. He's been the exact same player throughout all that. Like you've seen the same burst, the same impact. And it's like, that's what you're looking for. And you found it. And he's got that first round pedigree. He's not 32 years old. You know what I mean? Like how old is Takk McKinley? He's 26, right? If I remember correctly.
I think 27.
I was going to say 2017 draft, right? So somewhere around.
Takarist.
Great name.
Takarist McKinley.
I like
so
Dano's comment. I think it was
Yeah.
Dano. He says, I hope Takk plays angry. So I called him Ticked Tack.
But
Love it. We'll
Done.
make a shirt.
Like it.
We'll make a shirt. It'll happen.
Tic Tac.
Heisman in the chat says, no one gave a sheet when we lost Rodgers. Matter of fact, I have never seen an injured player mocked so much in my life. Have you guys? I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure we were mocked and made fun of to the highest degree possible. It was the most Jetsy thing possible, to the point where you would say, Aaron Rodgers' right Achilles has the ability to do the funniest thing ever. Like those were the types of comments we were seeing, when he comes back on the field. Like no one generally makes fun of injured players, but the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, it was just open season on us. Matt, your thoughts?
I agree with Hennessy here. You see the memes that Aaron Rodgers running out of the tunnel, or as you said, the Achilles has the chance to do the funniest thing, or I'm trying to think of another example of a guy, maybe Tua with the hands thing.
Yeah. I
but
think
that
there was
was
more
more like-
concern for that one.
Yes.
I feel like
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was going to say DeMar Hamlin has kind of turned into a meme, but initially there was a lot more concern with that as well. That's internet culture now, and not to go old man yells at cloud, but I think we've lost a lot of our compassion as a society, as we're so quick to meme things for internet clout and injuries and serious life events that happen in the world are memed instantly. It's weird to see that happening.
Green Bean, your thoughts on Rodgers going down and being made fun of and mocked as Jet fans?
First of all, I want to tell the world I love Hennessy. Okay. Love him. Got to hang out with him at the draft party that we had on Long Island, and just one of my faves. So let me just get that out of the way, right from the get-go. And I agree with you, dude. Nobody, and this is what I'm saying, like when we talk about, playing teams, I want to beat teams at full strength. No one cares. There's no asterisks. There's no, gimmies. There's no sympathy. Nobody remembers or cares about any of this stuff. And the point that you're making about, injured players getting, ridiculed, there's never been anything like it with Aaron. We're talking about a guy who came to the New York Jets, gave $35 million back, so they had money in the coffers to embolden, the team. It's the biggest. Wait, what do you? I guess pay cuts. I guess in NFL history.
I think it's in sports history. I don't think it's just NFL.
So, and he's been just a model citizen. He's been a good guy. People, they don't. It's like that girl keeps writing articles about everything negative. What the hell's her name again?
Rossini.
Yeah, Rossini. It's like that kind of shit. Like whatever problems they have with Aaron Rodgers, I don't give a shit one way or the other what somebody's politics are. I come from a generation that we were allowed to have differing opinions. You feel this way, now I gotta hate you. I don't know what that is. It doesn't resonate with me, but that is where a lot of the motivation comes from. The idea that we allow somebody who's done just the most model citizen types of stuff, goes to Taylor Swift and he's doing this, he's having a good time.
Have won the Super Bowl.
And it's like, what has he done wrong? And then he gets hurt. It's like tragic. On 9/11, in New York City, and the Jets pull out the emotional win. And it's like this tragic thing, and he just gets ridiculed. I don't know why it's acceptable, and it's never happened I can't think of anybody that's happened to. And for the entire year, even coming into this, we're still hearing negative stuff about him. For what? For what reason? It doesn't make sense
until
to
we
me.
get a win, until he finishes a game, or until we make the playoffs. We're just going to be the butt of jokes.
I want the Jets to win a Super Bowl, obviously, because we're all Jets fans here, but almost the Aaron Rodgers revenge tour factor just brings that to a whole nother level. Him giving the double bird FU to everyone who shit on him for the past year plus would just make it that much sweeter. So, to lean into Green Bean's point, of how they've handled and ridiculed and mocked him and everything for the last year, for him to that's the ultimate shot. There is no comeback from that, because they could always mock, oh, well, you didn't do this. You didn't win. You only made it to the AFC Championship game and lost on a last-second field goal. That doesn't count for anything. So him coming back and winning a Super Bowl this year would just be double bird into the camera, walk off into the sunset.
We're going to be one of those, the Dolphins have their perfect season. We cap off our perfect regular season, smacking them at home at MetLife, and then Patriot fans are sitting at home hoping, oh, man, I hope they don't complete it because we couldn't do it. And then Aaron Rodgers just, pulls out a Tom Brady voodoo doll, runs into the end zone, teabags him, and then the Jets win the Super Bowl and we ride off into the sunset. That's how my dream goes.
Yeah, that's right. I would love to see a real live teabagging as the confetti's falling down from the sky. He's going fucking, you see Aaron Rodgers teabagging dudes.
Mike Florio up
in this world.
Here's the thing. Here's what I want. I don't care if there's one Miami Dolphin guy left. I mean, there's only a handful left from, the time that they won 14 games and they're still thinking they're the best. It's a 17-game season. The Patriots won 16. Actually, they went 18-0 that year. But then lost in the Super Bowl. The Dolphins fan, we're the only perfect season. It's it's just a whole different era. But I would love, there's nothing that would make me happier than for the Jets to be the team that goes down there and just these decrepit old men are pouring champagne into a glass, and we go and smash those things out of their hands and then beat them up and all that shit and piss on them. That's what I want. That's all I want.
Love
Christmas. That's all I want for Christmas.
Oh, it'd be wonderful. Kick off the new year with a bang.
Oh,
Alan
please.
Dotes comes in with a super chat. Says, any thoughts on Zach giving up a safety in the third quarter of a preseason game? I did see the highlight or low light, I guess, whatever it was. I do tend to put that more on the offensive lineman. As soon as Zach did the play action, there was a dude barreling down on him. But at the same time,
more excuses. There was a running back.
That's where I was going. That's what I was saying. I'm in agreement.
Fucking throw it, Zach. Guy sucks.
I want Zach to play versus us in the worst way. I want my pound of flesh.
Dude, that's got to be our chant, because we'll have like 100 people, right, up in our area. If we get 100 people that go, play Zach Wilson, play Zach. Dude, I think the stadium that has good catch on potential.
Oh, dude!
What about like a cheer, like Wilson?
It'd be so good because we get like I guarantee Barstool would pick it up and Jets fans just heckle him, and then maybe Knicks gets like pulled at some point in the game because something happens.
Then Jared Stidham has an infected toenail or something and can't play. And
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, I don't really hope for injury, but man, if those two could just miss that week, that would be wonderful. I want it in the worst way. Worst way. Josh comes in. Josh says, upset we didn't give Huff a deal. If we don't have a third down sack guy, I think it will be hard for our defense to get off the field. Huff helped get off the field. I think that's what they're kind of hoping Will McDonald will ultimately end up being, that third down pass rush specialist. Now, obviously, Huff had a little bit more to it than maybe Will McDonald does right now. But hopefully, as we move on throughout the course of this season, you'll see the pressure coming up the middle with Quinnen and then JJ and, you know, hopefully Reddick coming off the edge. That would be ideal. Or as Matt said, I think it was last week, JJ and Quinnen up the middle with Reddick and McDonald on the outside, I think would be a scary pass rush to see. So fingers crossed we get to see that. Jason comes in with a super chat, says, Greeny, Jets started 5-1 that year and lost to the Steelers, I believe. Miracle in the Meadowlands was our next game. Yankees beat the Mets that night in the 2000 World Series as well. So I was at the Miracle in the Meadowlands,
and that wasn't that year.
Whatever you call it. The Monday Night Miracle was the 𝐒𝐿𝐺 year, wasn't
Monday
it?
Night Miracle.
That was 2000, I think.
Of course it was 2000.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, but yeah, so I'm looking at it now. You're right. It was 4-0. So the game that I was at was the we were 3-0. So it was against the Bills. I was at both those games, the Patriots and the Bills, our first two home games in 2000. And then I remember the Bucks game, man. That was great. Dude, we were behind and we came back. That was amazing to go.
That was the Curtis Martin glove game, right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
I think that was the Curtis Martin drops the glove and throws it to Wayne Corbett in the end zone to win it. I think it was that year.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
He did throw a touchdown back
sure.
to Wayne Corbett against Tampa, so that's probably the game.
Yeah, so then we lost to the Steelers to go 4-1. Then we went 5-1, beating the Patriots. Then we beat Miami and the 40-37 overtime, right? Monday Night Miracle. You know, and then we lost 3, won 3, lost 3. Ugh, terrible.
Brutal.
Why do they always do that? They get off to these good starts and then just shit the bed down. Oh, wait. I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. They beat Tennessee, who was undefeated at the time. Jets are 8-3.
So
and then they finished 9-7.
Ugh. You remember the big story?
That was the game Favre tore his like rotator cuff or something, right? Like he jacked up his shoulder.
Yeah, that's what happened. He tore his bicep, I think it was.
Yeah.
But that was the game. Do you remember, Matt? That was Kevin Mawai went to the Titans, and we had Mangold, and it was like this big thing, like Mawai, like the Mawai versus Mangold. Not they were playing each other, but who would have the better game? That was one of the big storylines of that game. And they were undefeated, and we beat them, and then we lost I forget, but anyway, we ended up being 9-7. Just sucks. And then we cut Brett Favre because he wants to retire. He goes right to the Vikes and goes to the NFC Championship. I can't stand it.
Dude, imagine having Brett Favre for the two Sanchez years.
What did we do?
Oh my God.
We would have won a ring.
No doubt. Dude, our weakness that year was the quarterback position. We had, remember, dude, listen, they had to teach the kid how to remember Mike or it was
Girardi or whatever came in.
Yeah. He came in to teach him how to slide from the Yankees. And then they had to give him the color-coded wristband. Remember? Yep. We were playing, and look, and it's funny because we were playing to protect Sanchez, to like not to lose the game, and he was 10 times the quarterback for the team than Zach Wilson was.
Oh yeah, we would have
10 times
killed to have Sanchez the last few years.
You know what?
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say that's crazy because I'm not disagreeing with you. You're 100% right. But the thought, like when Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson were drafted, I was so convinced that they had more talent than Mark Sanchez. It's like, oh, this guy should be a better quarterback than Mark. He had all the, this trait and that trait, and then neither one of them panned out. They both were worse than Mark Sanchez. Riddle me that one. I don't get it, man.
Doesn't make sense.
I mean, we didn't do Sammy Boy any favors, no doubt.
Oh, sure, but
you know what I mean. McCagnon, and then he finally gets rapport with one wide receiver, Terrell Pryor. They had 3 touchdowns in 2 games. They were and we cut him, and never got a reason.
Well, we also tried to flirt with Peyton Manning, and then we were embarrassed, and we're like, all right, we got to give Sanchez this monster contract, and that was kind of what doomed us at that point.
Yeah, extension. We cut Chad for Favre. It all started right there. We cut Chad. Instead of trading him, we cut him because we traded for Brett Favre. He goes to Miami and wins the division.
little help from Favre getting knocked out and Brady getting knocked out, and
it doesn't matter.
No,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter.
And that was their Wildcat year. It's just the way. But like, you know what's funny
Still
about
didn't win a playoff game.
If you wrote a story, like just a sad story, you're like just a novel, fictional novel, and you wrote it like the Jet, like just from the perspective of all the shit that goes wrong, any editor would look at it and go, this is the most unrealistic, ridiculous, stupid story I've ever read. It's nothing. Nobody's going to buy this. Stupid. But that's our life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's us.
We're here together. Thank you guys for being with us.
That's our saving grace. Big hugs, everybody. Big hugs.
Hype comes in here. Says 20-0 is something, never Rodgers' legacy as a GOAT. It would certainly cement his legacy. Alan says, I haven't won anything from you guys yet. Could you rig it for me? K, thanks.
Alan
really didn't win anything? Didn't Alan win something during the draft stream? I thought he did.
Definitely did. He won a 𝐒𝐿𝐼 shirt, didn't he?
Thought so. Yeah, he definitely did. He just didn't win the spinny wheel.
He just didn't win the spinny wheel.
I see what it is.
You guys know Alan made 8 million Mickey-shaped waffles.
Oh, he says, I bought the 𝐒𝐿𝐼 shirt. Okay.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Sorry.
All right. Well, you're in it to hopefully win it. Something.
Yeah, you got a couple entries tonight. Thank you.
All right. Green Bean. How many numbers we got in our generator for tonight?
Oh, I just put the last one in. It was Sharif Abdul Ali, and that leaves us with 35 contestants for the night.
Matt, could I have you go back to last week's stream? I don't know if we announced to have people do timestamps, but if you see any timestamps on the
You did.
We do have timestamps in here that I could give you.
I love the timestamps.
All right, let's go.
Okay, ready, Bean?
Yep.
Andrew Grzonka.
All right.
Top Gun Jets fan. The Gag.
Great gag. Oh, great gag. Yeah.
Eric Craig.
Eric.
He's got 2 first names. Like Rick
Peter
Bobby.
in the beautiful Hudson Valley.
Good man.
Yes. All right.
And that's it.
Oh, you know what happened to James? Fell off a mat.
Hey, he's gone. He tripped.
One too many times.
See you next fall.
All right. That gives us 40, Ryan.
All right, we got 40. Let's see what we got. Random number generator says 21.
Tommy Merck, my Virginia compadre.
Ooh. Tommy Merck.
Jersey.
Tommy Merck's winning the jersey. Jersey.
He gets a hat. Tommy
good,
Merck,
though.
reach out to us. talkinjetshow@gmail.com or jetstalk247@gmail.com. Get your shipping information, send you out a hat. We also have a little Sodak coming in here. Says, thanks for a censorship-free stream, Ryan. Yeah, I didn't freeze Bean like on purpose.
Yeah.
It was the chat that did it this week.
No. Tonight. Yeah, right. Okay.
It was actually
last
another
week-
Ryan too. Ryan King did it.
Hmm.
So technically,
Ryan
Ryan
King.
did freeze Green Bean.
Just a
Me and
different-
Ryan King and I had a nice robust conversation about all the new stuff coming to the Disney parks. Did you guys hear about it?
I did not hear about it. What's the new stuff
Real
coming to
quick.
the Disney?
If you've ever been to Disney World, you know that Tom Sawyer Island, right? It's this big island. You got to take a little raft over to it. It's cool. The kids run around, but it's lame by comparison. It's like old and antiquated. Then you got the big river steamboat thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking all that out and they're using that land to have a Cars land, which is the Lightning McQueen racers that they have in California Adventure. Awesome ride. And then the other half of the island is going to be Villains, another roller coaster and Villains attraction. So all the villains like Ursula, all those folks. So it's going to be awesome.
So not even, I'm thinking like Marvel's villains, but you're saying villains, not super villains. It could be
No,
Disney.
like think like Maleficent and that kind of shit. It's going to be real dark and scary and everything.
Jafar?
Yeah.
What's that?
Jafar?
Maybe Jafar will be there with his parrot, right?
All of them.
Too bad. Too bad.
Mufasa.
Who did the voice for
No,
the
not
parrot?
Mufasa. Who's the bad one? Scar. Scar's the bad one.
Who did the voice for the parrot? Oh, he's a comedian.
Oh, yeah, Godfrey.
Or Godfrey.
Godfrey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too bad he died. But also, they're adding a Monsters Inc. roller coaster to Hollywood Studios, The Doors, which is the first ever suspended roller coaster in Disney World. So that's another thing.
Very cool. I got to go to Disney back in 2015. I would totally go again. I'm probably not going to go again until like I can afford a second mortgage. It's stupid expensive.
It's ridiculous.
And I got to wait for the kids to get a little bit older too.
And now they're adding all this shit. They're going to charge you even more. It's like $200 to get in. They charge you $15 for each ride, fast pass. It's bullshit. So we got to
They charge you for each ride now?
They do it. I think they may be doing away with it, but they took away the fast pass system and they added something called Genie Pass, which is now like if you want like the most popular attractions, you want to get a fast pass. So like you're a family of 4, like I am.
Yeah.
So it could be up to $15 per person per fast pass. And then you want to do it. So you want to do Space Mountain, it could cost you 60 extra bucks. You want to go do Thunder Mountain, it could cost you 60 extra bucks. It's bullshit.
Wait online. We went last time we went, real quick story. Last time we went on like the first Monday in November. So like kids were in school, they were doing a soft open for their Christmas light spectacular. That's the way to do it. You hit Magic Kingdom first when all the people with kids like myself right now have to worry about getting their kids up and through their strollers and everything, and you just blitz through Magic Kingdom as fast as you can. That's the move. It's Vin says, just finished watching One Jets Drive. Let's go. Can't wait. And DeWedge comes in, says, we cannot be 0-1 or 0-2. Go Jets. Stop the 49ers. Go Jets. DeWedge, completely agree. And Jacob says, Talkin' Jets group trip to Disney.
Dude, I'm down.
Good fortune.
I'm totally down with that.
We're going to Coney Island. It's Disneyland Light.
That's right. We'll start right there.
All right, boys and girls, we have reached the end of our stream. Let's go around our panel, give our closing thoughts. Bean, anything you got going on this week?
Well, yeah, the podcast is out. It's a fun one about the cyclical trends and all that kind of shit. It's really cool. We're doing a Thursday thick of it, but I do want to tell you guys, September 10th, I will begin doing the After Hours Jets Fest again after this show at 10:30. So I'm really excited to do that again. I don't have to get up at fucking 4:30 in the morning anymore. So I'm excited to bring that back. I've missed it. It's one of my favorite things to do, just to kind of late night talk about whatever with you guys. So September 10th, that'll be coming back.
I love it. Matt, what you got going on?
Yeah, daily Jet stuff. Tomorrow, Just Jets comes out. Thursday, back with Egghead on the Talkin' Jets channel. It was fun to have him back. Last week, we talked Hassan Reddick. This week, hopefully we find a different topic. I think we've said everything we need to say on Hassan Reddick. It's just a waiting game now. But I'm excited for that. So stay tuned to the channel, baby.
Boys and girls, if you're going to be at Jets-Giants joint practice tomorrow, try to flag me down. Should be there. Hope I'm there. If I made it there, means I got there on time. We'll be back here next week, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, talking Jets. Make sure you check out everything down in the description down below. Thank you, Chubbies, for sponsoring the stream. And hit that like button on the way out. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS!
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pouch. Screw green bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it is that people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family. Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls. Freeze frame.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Jets!